Welcome back to the channel. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our latest videos. My name is Vanessa. For a very long time, I lived with a quiet sadness that followed me from room to room in my own home. I truly believed that I was the reason my house was so silent and empty of the happy sounds of children. My husband, Gregory, had spent 8 long years making me feel like I was a broken person because we could not have a baby together. He would often look at me with such disappointment, and those looks hurt much more than any words ever could. Then, on a completely normal Tuesday, at exactly 17 minutes past 6 in the evening, my whole world began to change in the most painful way you can imagine. I was standing in our kitchen, still wearing my work clothes after a long day at the office. I was carefully pulling apart a warm rotisserie chicken for our dinner. I remember the steam rising from the meat and how the whole house smelled like roasted herbs and comfort. That was when Gregory walked through the front door. He was not alone. My younger sister, Danielle, was standing right there beside him. She stayed about 3 feet inside the kitchen, holding her purse very tightly on her shoulder. She looked like a stranger just passing through, not like my sister. Gregory looked at me with cold eyes and said those words that changed everything. He told me they needed to talk. Without another word, he dropped a thick stack of divorce papers right next to my plate of chicken. Then he looked me in the eye and said that Danielle was pregnant with his twins. I did not scream. I did not cry right then. Instead, my brain did something very strange. I looked down and noticed a tiny coffee stain on his shirt cuff. I started thinking about whether we needed to buy more coffee filters for the morning. When your heart breaks that fast, your mind tries to find something small and normal to hold on to so you don't fall apart. Gregory told me he was 49 years old and that he finally wanted a real family. He said that 8 years of being married to me had given him nothing but empty rooms and silence. He looked at Danielle and said he realized he had married the wrong sister. My sister did not move or look away from him. She just stood there, letting him say those mean things about me. Gregory pushed the legal papers toward me across the counter. I did not fight him. I read every single page with shaky hands and signed only the part that said I had received them. I did not sign away my rights to the house or our savings yet. I was still in shock. That night, I packed a single suitcase while he casually mentioned that Danielle would be moving into the house. It was a house I had worked for 12 long years to build and pay for. I checked into a local hotel, sat on the edge of bed, and cried for exactly 4 minutes. Then I wiped my face and ordered a bowl of warm soup. I had to stay strong, because Gregory did not know my secret. 3 years ago, I had found his medical papers by accident in a drawer. Those papers proved that he was the one who could not have children, not me. His health numbers were the real problem. But I never said a single word to him about it. I let his family and everyone else believe I was a failure, because I love him so much. I wanted to protect his pride and his feelings. Keeping that secret was the biggest mistake of my life. The next day, I hired a very kind and smart attorney named Patricia. She was a woman who listened with her heart as much as her head. As she looked into our bank accounts, she found something terrible. Gregory had been taking thousands of dollars from our joint savings account. He was giving that money to Danielle without telling me a word about it. That same night, I got a text message from a man named Tom. Tom is Danielle's ex-husband. He told me something that made my heart feel like it stopped beating. He said that before Danielle told Gregory those twins were his, she had told Tom they might actually belong to him. I met Tom the next morning at a small, quiet cafe. He showed me phone messages that proved he and Danielle had spent time together right when the babies were started. Danielle had even admitted to him that she was not sure which man was a father. Neither of them had ever done a medical test to find out the truth. Later on, I talked to Danielle alone. She finally whispered to me that she wasn't completely sure who the father was either. I asked her if she really believed Gregory when he said our marriage was already dead before they started their affair. She looked down at the floor and admitted she should have known better than to trust his words. She also told me the truth about the money she took from our shared account. On Sunday, Gregory's mother, Eleanor, invited us all to her house for dinner. She was always a woman of great grace and strength who cared about what was right. without telling her son. She also invited Tom to join us. During the meal, Gregory stood up and started talking about his exciting new future. He called it his second chance at life. He was smiling and acting like he was some kind of hero. But then, Eleanor looked straight at him and said one simple word. No. She told him he was not going to treat me this way again. She revealed to the whole family that I had spent years protecting his ego by staying silent about his medical results. Gregory's face turned bright red as I finally told the truth to everyone sitting at that table. I told them I wasn't the one who couldn't have children. Then Tom stood up. He put his phone on the table and showed Gregory the messages and the dates that proved the babies might not be his at all. Gregory turned to Danielle, his voice shaking with fear, and asked if the twins were actually his. She covered her face with her hands and whispered that she did not know for sure. The sound of Gregory's chair scraping against the floor was so loud it silenced the entire room. Eleanor quietly pointed out that her son had destroyed an 18-year marriage before he even knew whose children he was fighting for. I stood up and told him about the stolen bank money. I told him he would not be using my hard-earned savings to pay for his new life or his mistakes. I looked at my sister and told her that the babies were innocent and should not have to pay for what we had done. Then I walked out of that house before dessert was even served. Gregory followed me all the way to my car and tried to say he had made a big mistake. I looked at him one last time and told him he didn't make a mistake. He made a long series of choices. I drove away and didn't look back. For months later, the twins were born healthy and beautiful. 3 weeks after that, Danielle sent me a short message that said, "Tom is their father." I felt a giant wave of relief, followed by a deep tiredness that went down to my bones. Gregory had ruined our whole life together trying to prove I was the problem, when the truth was right there all along. Later, he asked me to meet him for coffee. For 1 second, I thought about it, but then I remembered him calling me the wrong sister. I texted him back and said, "No, take care of yourself." My hand shook, but I finally felt free. I sold the big house that fall. I walked away with enough money to buy a small, cozy condo with a round table and 4 chairs. I slept better that first night than I had in many years. Danielle apologized, and I told her maybe we could be sisters again one day. But that being family didn't mean she had a right to be in my life right now. Tom is being a great father to those babies. And Eleanor, she is still in my life. She told me that while she might have lost a daughter-in-law, she kept a daughter. I saw Gregory at the store recently. He said he thought kids would fix the broken parts of him. I told him that isn't a child's job. I have learned that forgiving someone is not the same as letting them back in. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is just keep the boundaries you worked so hard to build. You have to protect your heart because you are worth it. You deserve truth and peace. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.